Okay, thank you so much. As you just heard, my name is David. I'm from a place called TrendWatching. At TrendWatching, our obsession is with consumer trends. So we are obsessed with the trends reshaping the mindsets, the behaviors, the expectations of consumers all over the world. But we are here to talk about pharma, we're here to talk about patients, we're here to talk about medical professionals. So what I've done is just chosen 4 key consumer trends that I want to put on your radar. So 4 trends that I hope can do a couple of things. The first thing is just give us all a big handle on some of the key forces out there reshaping the mindsets and the behaviors of consumers when it comes to digital and when it comes to a connected world. The second thing, crucially, is just to empower you guys, to fuel you guys when it comes to your innovation, when it comes to how you can serve patients and medical professionals, people out there in the years ahead. When you start to think about your next product, your next service, whatever it is, I hope these trends will empower you to make something that people really want. Okay, so what I want to do in the next half an hour, 30 minutes, is just bring the outside world into this room a little bit. You guys are the expert in your industry. I just want to bring the outside world in and challenge you to see the trends I'm going to share with you through the lens of your industry expertise, and just ask yourself, what would it be like if we applied the trend that we are hearing here? Before I do that, I just want to take a step back and talk a tiny bit about what are trends. What do I mean by this word trends? Okay, because that's going to be super useful for everything that follows. So we at TrendWatching have a very simple model when it comes to trends, a very simple way of thinking about them. And it starts with one very simple observation, and that is change, okay? The world is changing all the time. We live with very rapid change, technological, social, attitudinal change. We're used to that. We live in a fast-changing world. Here's the thing about all this change. It can throw you off balance. It's very hard to know how to make sense of it all, let alone how to plot your next direction, how to plot your next move when you live with all this change and it feels extremely chaotic. But there is a simple, powerful core truth that can let you start to get a handle on this change, start to make sense of it, okay? And here is that truth. Yes, there's lots of change, but amid all that change, we are still the same old people with the same old basic human needs. So human beings are motivated by a set of basic needs and wants, things like value, security, convenience, excitement, whatever it is, okay? They don't really change. They are very stable. Decade on decade, century on century, those human needs at their most fundamental do not really change. And the reason I'm telling you this is because trends, we think, are built of those 2 building blocks. On the one hand, change. On the other hand, basic human needs. In fact, to be more specific about it, we say this, okay? We say new trends emerge when some change in the world, often it's a new technology, but it doesn't have to be, some change in the world unlocks a new way of serving a basic human need. That's what the 4 trends I'm going to share with you today are all about. They're all about new ways to serve these age-old basic human needs that we all have. And crucially, we think the best way you can see that happening, the best way you can spot these trends, is to look out to the world of innovation. Look out to the products, the services, the marketing campaigns, the business models emerging now, and look particularly for those innovations that are serving basic human needs in new ways. Those are the innovations we're really interested in, okay? And innovations that serve basic human needs in new ways do something special. They change people. They rewire people. They give them new behaviors. They give them new habits. Ultimately, they cause them to expect new things of the world around them. Okay? And those new expectations, once they've been generated, they will spread across markets, across industries, across demographics, and they will eventually spread all the way to your door. That's why we're always telling clients, you live inside this. You live inside an expectation economy. You should ask yourself, who are we really competing against? It's not necessarily just the other people in your industry. It's clearly not just the people who are geographically around you. Really, your true competition are those brands, those businesses, those game-changing innovations who are creating the new expectations that you will eventually face. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about a trend, really. I'm just talking about a new set of consumer expectations, of patient expectations, of human expectations that's spreading and will eventually spread all the way to your door. And I want to look at 4 of those right now. They're linked by a common theme, and that is empowerment. We all know this, right? A connected world has empowered consumers. It has empowered patients to know more about the world around them, to know more about themselves and their own bodies and their own health, to make their own decisions, to make their own mistakes sometimes. Empowerment is a theme, is a thread that runs through these 4 trends. And after each trend, we'll stop for a very quick light bulb moment, or we'll pause. I'll give you a chance to think for a second, for a light bulb moment, just to ask yourself the really crucial question, like I said, what does this trend mean for us? What does this trend mean for our industry, for our organization? What would it look like if we applied this trend? Okay, so with all that said, let's race on to the first trend. Trend number 1 starts with this. Basic human needs, self-improvement. Self-improvement is an eternal core human need. All human beings want to improve, physically, mentally, cognitively, emotionally. That's just a part of human nature that's always been with us. It always will be with us. Wellness, health and wellness has been a massive part of the self-improvement story over the last 3 decades or more, and we've been on a huge journey when it comes to health and wellness. I always say, especially to the younger people I talk to in the audience, 30 years ago, you were a weirdo, you were strange if you went running. If you jogged around your park, that was considered a very odd, almost perverse thing to do. Like, what are you running away from, okay? Now we're in a world where if you don't run, if you don't go to the gym, if you don't do 50 types of yoga, you are the strange one. We live in an environment now for health and wellness of endless choice. This is an exercise class in Sydney where you dress up in 1980s clothes and do your exercise. Okay, it's called retrofit. You can do meditation inside virtual reality. You can do goat yoga, just yoga with an actual goat on you. My personal favorite. Okay? As well as endless choice, we're in an environment of endless metrics. We have people measuring metrics about themselves, their health, their physical health, their mental and emotional health, productivity metrics even. So we have endless choice, we have endless metrics and measurement. And you put that together, and we think we're seeing the emergence now of a new kind of mindset when it comes to health and wellness, a kind of test and fix mindset, a mindset that almost sees human wellness as a kind of engineering problem to be solved. Okay? And that's the subject of this first trend I want to talk to you about. It's called wellness engineers. And just as I've said, just as you can read on the slide, it's all about consumers, patients becoming engineers of their own wellness in interesting and innovative ways. And I want to show you some examples that tap into what I mean by that. Here is a first great example of what I mean. This is TimeShifter. TimeShifter is a new app that uses an algorithm developed by NASA to help travelers deal with their jet lag. Okay, so if you're taking a flight, you download this app, you tell it how old you are, you tell it the flight you're taking, obviously, when you're taking off, when you're going to land, all of that stuff. And it will use this algorithm to come back to you with personalized advice to help you minimize your jet lag. It will tell you when you should expose yourself to light, when you should sleep or try to sleep, when you should drink caffeine if you do drink caffeine, and all this advice is intended to help minimize the jet lag you experience. This is a great example of the trend I'm talking about, wellness engineers. This is ordinary people now using an algorithm developed by NASA, used by NASA astronauts, we are told, to help them deal with their personal jet lag issues. And actually, United Airlines has just partnered with TimeShifter to try to make this app available to all its passengers. This is a startup from the United States called Elysium Health. They're doing something that's about biological age. Okay, they send you a kit in the post. You take a saliva test. They claim from that, and I'll get to the science disclaimers in a bit, okay? They claim from that they can give you some kind of assessment of your biological age and then deliver to you personalized health advice, personalized supplements as well that are intended to help you maintain and improve your health and wellness. DNA will be a big part of the wellness engineers story. okay? Here's a great example of that. This is DNA Nudge. This is a startup in London that essentially wants to give you personalized DNA-fueled advice when you are doing your food shopping to help you improve your diet. I've actually got a quick video to play of this one, so I won't say any more. Just check this video out. This is how it works.
We're all different. That's because our DNA is different. In fact, your DNA is unique to you, which means different foods suit our bodies better. DNA Nudge understands your body's needs. This makes it the perfect shopping companion. When you're out shopping, it nudges you to make healthier choices. Choices that are right for you. It's not a diet. You still decide whether you want to eat this or this. DNA Nudge uses your unique DNA code to nudge you, helping you make the right choice for you. We simply do this by indicating green or red, helping you to make an informed choice. You can also use Nudge Share based on your family's DNA. So if I get a green light on a snack, should I eat it? You can, but don't overdo it. We live different lifestyles, and DNA Nudge promotes an active lifestyle. Sitting still for too long during the day may change what DNA Nudge recommends you eat. For example, a snack that indicated green might now be amber. To get back to green, you need to move a little. Remember, move a little and get the green light for your health.
Okay, so I think you can see how it works. I should have said at the beginning, you take a saliva test again. They send you a kit, you take a saliva test. It's measuring, it's testing your DNA, and then it's giving you personalized advice as you move around the store via a little wearable device based on your genetic risk for certain diseases like heart disease, stroke, and so on, and the diet and food it thinks you're going to respond to. You know, how evidence-based are interventions like this right now? I suspect not very, okay? And we'll get back to that in a second. But just to show you how mainstream these kinds of expectations are set to become, this is Nestlé experimenting with DNA-personalized foods. They've divested themselves from sugary snacks in the United States. Okay, the core of their business in the US has been sugar, has been chocolate. They've sold that part of their business, and they now want to undergo a massive pivot towards wellness, and in particular, DNA-fueled wellness. And they are running trials at the moment with hundreds of thousands of consumers in Japan, where again, you get a kit, you're tested for your DNA, and they're sending you personalized foods and supplements and kind of milkshake powders that are intended to help you maintain your health and wellness. Now look, and this goes for all the examples in all the trends I'm going to show you today. I am not showing you these examples to say, these are the next billion-dollar businesses. Okay, I don't have that crystal ball. Sadly, I don't know whether these are the next billion-dollar businesses or not, these specific companies. I'm not showing them to you to say, you should just go and do that. You should just go and launch a new jet lag app, or you should definitely move into DNA personalized wellness. I'm showing them to you because they are such powerful signals of an underlying set of expectations. Like, my challenge to you is, when you can fly United Airlines and use an algorithm developed by NASA, used on NASA astronauts to help you deal with your own jet lag, however accurate it is, right? But if you can do that, what do you start to expect from your pharma company? If a startup is offering you the chance to walk around the store with a bracelet on, getting DNA personalized advice back on your diet and your health and your wellness for you and your family, again, what new expectations does that generate for you guys? What do you start to expect from your pharma company, from your medical professionals, when you're living in an environment of that kind of innovation? That is the challenge for you when it comes to this trend. And it goes for all the trends I'm going to show you. Okay, I'm showing you the examples because they pose a challenge in terms of the new expectations they're going to generate for you. Okay, so let's move on to trend number 2. Trend number 2 starts with a very different but equally powerful basic human need. That is relevance. And by relevance, I'm just talking about the desire to get back things from the world that are relevant for you as a person, that are a perfect fit, that are personalized, Okay, and personalization has always been part of the promise of consumerism. You know, the perfectly cut suit made to measure, just right for you. What has been the big story of personalization across the last 10, 15 years or so? It's been this, okay? It's been online data-fueled personalization. Data-fueled personalization online, which turns billions of people using the internet each into a segment of one customer, served a personalized experience based on their tastes, their preferences, their past behaviors, all as embodied by their personal data, okay? And more recently, we've seen the arrival of physical objects that can start to iterate and upgrade and change in the way that online services can. This is Tesla. They've just pushed a new operating system to the Tesla car, OS X, that upgrades the car. It now has in-car karaoke. It now has improved autopilot for when you're driving down the highway at 80 miles an hour. So the physical car sitting on your driveway can change and adapt now because it is a connected object. Okay, so we have data-fueled personalization, and we have a world of physical objects that can change and adapt and grow in the way online services have always been able to. And when you put those two things together, what starts to emerge on the part of consumers is just new expectations of constant adaptation and change and iteration, okay? And now that expectation is merging with another big trend we've been tracking for a long time, and that is everything as a service. The convenience of everything as a service, where you take a physical object and you put it on subscription and you turn that product into a service, okay, and you enjoy the convenience of that. Expectations of constant adaptation and growth and iteration and change are now merging with this everything as a service convenience mindset. So if you ask me what the future of personalization is going to be about, then I think a lot of it is going to be about this. It's going to be about relevance as a service, personalization as a service. Yes, make it personalized, but also make it super convenient and put that on a rolling service for me. And when you put all of that together, you come to this second trend. It's called metamorphic design. And just as I've said, it's about saying consumers are going to start to expect products and services that change and iterate and grow along with them. Services and products that change along with their changing needs. And I just want to show you two examples of what I mean by that. First, let's think about beauty. Okay, let's think about the beauty industry. Here is a super interesting example of what I mean by metamorphic design. This is Shiseido, the massive Asian cosmetics brand. They've recently launched a skin cream that iterates and changes every day along with the user's changing skin and the changing environment. So what you do is every day you take a selfie. It's using an algorithm to assess the condition of your skin. It's also factoring in environmental conditions like air quality, the time of year, how sunny it is, all of that kind of stuff. It sends all of that to this cartridge, which you can see on the screen behind me, and that cartridge mixes the perfect skin cream for that particular day every day. Okay, so this is a skin cream, right? Rather than just being a pot on the shelf and it's the same skin cream every day, it changes every single day along with the changing needs of the user. That is what I'm talking about when I talk about this trend. I'm talking about a product that changes along with the changing needs of the person who is using it. How does that look in health? Okay, here is a great example of that. The thing with choosing the perfect supplement or the perfect nutrient powder, whatever, something like that, is that in the end there is no one perfect formula for you, right? As you guys know, as we all know, because we change, we grow, we age, we are physiological beings that are in constant states of change. Okay, here's a powerful answer to that challenge. This is Baze. Baze is a new vitamin subscription service, but it comes with a twist, because if you subscribe to Baze, what you're asked to do is take a quarterly blood test. So every quarter, you take a little pinprick of blood. They send you a special device to do it. Take a little pinprick of blood. You post it back to them. They test that blood, and then they optimize the supplements they are sending you based on the results of that blood test. So as your nutritional requirements change, as you age, as you change physiologically in other ways, the supplements they are sending you will change along with you. And again, that's a perfect example of this trend I'm talking about. I'm talking about products and services that change along with the changing needs of the user, that give relevance as a service, personalization as a service. Now look, I'm a specialist in consumers. I spend all day thinking about consumers, so naturally I'm talking to you about them and I'm talking to you about patients. This trend applies powerfully to medical professionals too. Don't forget, they are also human beings. They are also consumers or people out there having their expectations changed by contact with innovations of the kind I'm showing you, okay? Like in a world where your skin cream can iterate and change along with your changing needs every day, where your vitamin supplements can change and iterate along with you as you age, as you change physiologically every quarter. What do patients start to expect from you guys? What do medical professionals start to expect from you guys? How can you offer them services and solutions that change along with their changing needs? So it's not just one thing all the time, okay? Or it's not like if they want it to change, if they want it to be personalized, they have to keep coming back to you and telling you. It changes and evolves and grows along with them. So I would love you to think about that trend and how you could apply it, and think about those two different dimensions. Think, yes, about the end consumer, yes, about the patient, but about medical professionals too. How can you offer them services and solutions that are what we would call metamorphic? Okay, let's race on to trend number 3, convenience. Convenience is one of those big, simple, age-old basic human needs. Like, everyone wants their life to be as easy, as simple, as quick, as fast as possible. That's just a part of human nature. Again, it's always been with us. It always will be with us. In consumerism, the basic human need for convenience is often manifested as a desire for good service. Like, everyone loves good service, right? That's just a part of human nature. We know that consumers are impatient. As you can see here, consumers are impatient, patients are impatient, no pun intended. Doctors, medical professionals are impatient. We're all impatient. We want what we want, and we want it right this second. And in a connected world that's made it so easy to get all the world's information instantly, to get a car on demand, to get your takeaway food on demand, to find a lawyer on demand, whatever it is, it can often feel as though consumers just demand to be served instantly wherever they are all the time. Like, they are looking out to businesses, they are looking out to people like you, just saying, serve me where I am, when I want you, right away, this instant, 24/7. That is impossible, okay? You don't have to meet that very, very high bar, but you can use this trend, new channels, new contexts, to be in the right place at the right time for consumers, for patients, and indeed for medical professionals. This trend is about using new channels, like new pathways to the consumer, and new contexts, new kinds of information about the consumer to be at the right place at the right time. And I want to whisk through these examples super quickly because they're very straightforward, okay? This is Calm, the meditation mindfulness app. It's the world's biggest meditation app. It has millions of users. Recently partnered with Uber to put mindfulness meditation inside Uber rides, okay? So you could sit down, pair of headphones, the app was right there, you plug in, you tell it how long your ride is going to last. Is it 5, 10, 20 minutes? And you get a mindfulness meditation session in your Uber. So this is Calm, turning cars into a new channel for mindfulness meditation. This is GSK, leveraging another massive channel. Like, where are hundreds of millions, billions of connected consumers hanging out, talking to their friends, talking to their family all the time, inside messaging apps, okay? This is GSK on WeChat. We know WeChat, like 1 billion users and more. This is GSK running a really, really interesting innovation inside WeChat that was essentially about diagnosing COPD and pulmonary conditions. And super quickly, like essentially the way it worked is, you know, you access this mini program inside WeChat, so you don't have to leave WeChat, you do it inside the app. You blow into the microphone, you see this tree grow. It's using an algorithm to assess your breath, to assess the power of your blow into the microphone, and then it will flag up if it thinks you need to head to your doctor because maybe you have pulmonary issues. But what I want you to focus on is that they did this inside WeChat. They leveraged a messaging app as a new channel for a diagnostic test, okay? And in a world where this is happening, and it's happening in your industry, some of you, it's happening inside the company you work for or from one of your direct competitors, what do consumers and patients start to expect from you? Video games are another massive channel. Fortnite, there's probably like 3 or 4 million people playing Fortnite, the massive shared online video game, right now as we speak. The Red Cross used Fortnite as a channel to start to teach new people basic kind of health skills, basic health emergency first responder skills, okay? So leveraging, again, a channel that we know is becoming massive in the online space, these huge video games with tens, hundreds of millions of people playing simultaneously is a really, really powerful channel to leverage. Just to show you how far expectations along these lines can go, this is the New Zealand government creating a little booth. Yeah, creating a little booth that it started to put in kind of retail spaces around New Zealand called the Test-O-Matic, okay? And it works just the way you can see it work on the slide, okay? You step inside, you draw the curtain around you. There is a medical professional hiding inside that booth, okay? At least they say they're a medical professional. And they are going to perform a test for testicular cancer on you. And this booth is intended to make that test feel less embarrassing and just less weird. Now, I leave it up to you whether you feel it does make it less embarrassing and less weird, right? And of course, this was a joke. Like, this was done to, like, they really did build these booths. They put them in some malls and shopping centers around New Zealand. But it was a gag, it was a joke intended to build awareness of testicular cancer, right? So we laugh and we're meant to. But take a look at this. Okay, this is Ping An Good Doctor. They're an AI-fueled health platform in China. You can go to the website or you can use the app to have a consultation with an AI doctor, okay? And they've been running this for 2 or 3 years. They've collected a mountain of data, and they're now using that data to fuel these things. These are booths that they're placing around China. You step inside, you have a consultation with an AI doctor, you answer some questions, you're referred to a real human doctor live, like you FaceTime with them if you need to. If that doctor feels it's appropriate, they will give you a prescription. The prescription is printed out and it's sent to your phone. The 100 most common medicines prescribed are stored in the booth right there, so you can pick it up right away. If not, you can take your prescription to a pharmacy. And they've already put 1,000 of these across China in malls, in colleges and universities, retail areas, town centers, and so on. It's intended to help address the huge shortage of doctors and medical professionals across China, and there are plans for many more. So yes, we laugh, of course, at the Test-O-Matic, but these kinds of expectations are powerful, and they are coming down the pipeline. And look, again, this trend applies to doctors too. Yes, you want to use new channels to reach out to patients in new ways. You can also use new channels to reach out to medical professionals in new ways. Doctors know that these new channels are becoming powerful. That's why this doctor, who I keep showing you, used TikTok, okay, the big new social media platform where hundreds and thousands of millions of teenagers are sharing videos every day, to share this video about vaccines. So that clip went viral. It got tens and tens of millions of views. My challenge to you is, look, if medical professionals, if doctors are already leveraging these channels, okay? If a doctor is getting tens and tens of millions of views on TikTok giving vaccine advice to patients, what do patients and what indeed do medical professionals start to expect from you? Why are you not leveraging these new channels? They're going to expect you to be there in their messaging app. They're going to expect you to be there in their video game. They're going to expect you to be there on the street, okay? In a world where you can step into a booth like a little telephone box and have an AI-fueled consultation with a doctor. What do you start to expect from you guys? That is my core challenge. I can see I've used up my time, and we are already running over time, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Look, I hope these 3 trends are super powerful and useful for you when it comes to fueling your innovation. My final word to you is just this. Look, I've given you 3 trends. I hope I've also given you just the beginnings of a new way of seeing the world around you. Okay? We can all spot trends of our own. We can all become our own trend watchers. And if you want to do that, it's super easy. You see a ton of new stuff all the time. You see new innovations, new things all the time. When you see those new things, if you just look at them through this framework I've given you of change and basic human needs and expectations, you can start to spot trends of your own. So when you see something new, a new innovation, a new app, a new service, whatever it is, just ask yourself, what change is fueling this innovation? What change in the world is making this innovation possible now? What is the basic human need this innovation is serving? And crucially, if you just ask yourself one question, just ask yourself this one question, when people see this innovation, what new expectations will it generate? Like when people see this innovation, what will they start to expect from us? If you go out into the world or you go online, seeing the world through that lens of new expectations, you will start to spot these new expectations emerging. You can start to spot trends arising too and become your own trend watcher, and then you can take those trends back to your team and use them, because the crucial thing about trends is you must use them. It's useless just knowing trends. You have to put them to work, innovate, create your next product, your next service. But that is more than enough from me. Thank you so much for listening. It's been super fun. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was very nice.
Thank you.
And you really helped us put a frame around, I guess, where the rest of this discussion will go. We may have time at the end, and if we do, we will ask you to the 4th one, which you owe us.
Yes.
Okay.
I've got that in reserve if we have time.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.